Alright, today we're going to do some vehicle stuff, but we're going to work on the Jeep. The Jeep has got some problems, namely the DPF is blocked. We do need to do a forced regen. However, I noticed the other day that when we were driving it, it took a very long time to come up to temperature. I reckon the thermostat stuck open, which this particular style of thermostat, when it fails open. And that could mean that the exhaust is not getting up to enough temperature to passively regenerate the DPF, and that could be why it's blocking up unexpectedly frequently. That, and it's also winter, and this does a number of short runs. We don't do long runs as much as we really should with it. So we may need to change the way we're driving, possibly the fuel, and also we're going to do the thermostat today. We'll see how we go. One thing I highly recommend is replacing the gas strap on these with a slightly bigger one. Makes it a lot easier. Right, first thing we need to do is pop up the little lugs on the corner of this cover and pop that off. I think I had a peek under here the other day and the thermostat was easy to get to. I think this is it here. That looks like it. Right there we go. And it's got the bleed in the correct spot. The air should come up to the top. Hopefully it should be easy enough to bleed the air out of. And this is the upper radiator hose. Doesn't look like I'm going to need much to get into it, although I will need to find my small socket set. Alright, so it turns out it's an 8mm, and we need a short extension and a little ratchet. Alright, see if we can get this off with a pair of multi-grips. Maybe. I'll open them up a bit more. Might need to be just a bit more. There we go, that should hold that. Can we wriggle that back? A little bit more. That's perfect. Alright. Pipe is a little stuck. Okay. There's my neighbour. Now, I did have a thought of pulling the thermostat housing off before the hose, so that I didn't lose as much coolant, but I think we're just going to top it up when we're done anyway. See if I can pull this off gently. Whoop, we hold that up. That bit's going to flow back out of there. I think that's going to, let's take the radiator cap off. That was under pressure. Okay, we've got some of these semi sort of rigid lines around here. I think I'll leave them. There goes the neighbourhood Harley. He just got booked out the front of my place. Anyway, let's get this off. I don't think I need to move these lines. This is a hard line, that'll definitely get in the way. This is an 8mm socket. So these do feel like roofing screws. It's alright, I'm going to cut bits out of this anyway. Now, that's the difficult one to get ratchet into because there's a hard line in the way. I didn't think this was going to be this easy. I might need a short socket in there. Alright, 8mm short socket with an extension bar. Might get in there, just enough room to squeeze in. I thought these lines might cause a problem. Oh, we're going to strip it if we do that too much. That is actually in a real prick of a spot. I have to think about that. Alright, so I can't get a ratchet spanner in here because of that bit. I now hate Jeeps again. I thought this was going to be an easy one. Alright, hose clamp spanners start at 9mm, not 8. Let's see if I can get a standard spanner in here. Oh, I can. This is going to be fun. This is going to be one of these 1/8 of a turn at a time, and I need to do about 20 turns. Alright, so it looks like I'm going to have to relocate the hard line here, which means I need a 10mm socket for this little hose clamp thingy. And this might allow me to move it just enough to get the short socket in on that 8mm. I think I got it. I made an extra short socket and squeezed everything just out, just a little bit. It only just comes out. This is going to be a nightmare to put back in.
One eternity later.
Feels loose. Alright, now we can pull the thermostat out, I think. If we're lucky, we won't lose the bolt. Is this the only one holding it in? I believe so. Okay, we got it. Alright, old versus new. The old one feels like it's plastic. Definitely doesn't look the same internally. But hopefully this one's a better one. Alright, fortunately we haven't drained too much coolant doing this. Actually, one thing I do want to do, normally with this O-ring I would put a bit of like, what am I saying, a bit of silicone grease on it, like plumber's grease, but I'm going to just wet it with a bit of coolant. Should help it go in a little bit better. Alright, this should finagle in gently. That should go in okay. At least this looks like it's the correct one. That's good. Now, we'll do the harder screw first before I lose my absolute crap with it. We've got the screw in position. Excuse my neighbours having some fun next door building stuff. This would be incredibly easy to get this cross threaded, so I'm going to try not to force it. Now I've got the other bolt. I took the better looking of the two because the one that was in there was a little bit stripped on the head, so I used that one where it's more accessible. The one with a better head can go on the bottom. You know, in the video this will look really easy, but in reality I wanted to shoot it. I'm not going to overdo the tightening with the ultra short socket, in part because it just fell onto the belt somewhere and disappeared. So no more short socket. Nope, no idea where that went. So somebody did precision maths when they designed this engine, because there is only exactly enough room to get like a quarter turn or an eighth of a turn out of a spanner and then flip it around. No more, no less. Alright, now we're taking the Aussie strap off, our structural octopus strap, and try not to let it fly back into the engine bay. And now we put our coolant line back on. And hopefully this bit goes over the top. I think we've got to tighten it up just a tiny bit more. Right, there we go. Right up to the flange. Over the top. Alright, we're on. Now one thing I mustn't forget is put the clamp back on for the injector line. We don't want that vibrating and stress fatiguing. Alright, before I do much else, going to top up with some demineralized water in the header tank. If I can do this without a funnel, we can. We'll top this up a bit and hopefully we can replace some of what we've lost. At this point I can't really bleed the air out until the thermostat pops, which is going to wait for it to come up to temperature. It's a cold morning and it's going to have to idle a bit. We might have to take it for a drive, bleed the air later, and I'm going to call this quits for the video because I have too much else to do today. There won't be time. We will do a force regen on it at some point and we'll go over the results at a later date. I hope it was useful anyway. And a good old plug to the grit mitts that have been sponsoring me from way back in the start. It's some good stuff, works really well. So I thought this test was going to take longer, but let's explain something. This should not happen. You shouldn't have water flowing out of your thermostat when it's cold water. That means it's not closing properly, which I think is definitely some of the problem we had. Thermostat was definitely dead.